Alright, in our last tutorial we looked at the insertion of fixtures as it related to our bathrooms and kitchen fixtures. In this tutorial we're going to be looking at inserting or installing our flooring. Alright, now we're going to be installing concrete flooring throughout the structure. We would like to achieve, however, two different levels, in the sense that we would have wanted our garage and the washroom to be cast on the same level, as well as the porch and that same level, which would have been 2 inches lower than the rest of the building. And so our porch, garage and our wash area are going to be cast individually. All right. Let me go ahead and turn off some layers so we can have a little bit more clarity. I'm going to turn off, let me go in my layers. Alright, and so I'm going to be turning off my A roof layer. So let me go ahead and turn that off. So my A roof is off. I'm also going to be turning off my A roof slab, which controls my roof slab. So let's turn that off. If you notice, the kitchen counter is also gone. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be removing my doors. So let me turn off my A door, my A wall openings, and my plumbing fixtures. Alright, let's also turn off A case, and finally appliances. Alright, so what we're left with is basically just the structure of the building. All windows have remained and the walls have remained. Alright, let me click on my screen to release that command. Now, to put in the floor, we're going to do so by using our slab, which is found in roof slab. Now, that's the difference between slab and roof slab. Roof slab are used to cast roofs, while slabs are used to cast basically floors. So I'm going to select on slab, and I'm going to make some settings. We would want to have our floors being cast 4 inches thick, so I'm going to enter a dimension of 100 and 0 overhang. Alright, with that on your screen, we're basically going to be selecting the points. Let me ensure that my snaps are on, and I'm going to be selecting the corners that the concrete is expected to be following. And so I'm casting my garage now with my washroom. So I'm going in the washroom along the corners. Alright, when I get to the door, the concrete will be going here as well, straight across to this wall here, and there will be concrete along this wall back to here, because there's going to be a step down at this point. Alright, so I'm going back across, back up, back over here, and then back to where I started. Then I give an enter, and you would realize that the garage floor is in place. It's a bit thick, so let's check on that. So let's select that, and our thickness should have been 100, and let's click on our screen, and that has been reduced. Alright, in a similar fashion we would install the slab work on our porch. So let's go again, and from our roof slab, let's go slab. Let's ensure that our thickness this time is 100. Alright, and I'm going to be selecting the corners again. So let's start the casting, for example, here onto this point, back across to this point, because again there's going to be a step down across this door here, there's going to be another step down across this door. So we're going all the way to this corner here, then back to this one, back to this one. We're going across back to here, up here, and back where we started, and give an enter. Over on the 3D side, you would realize again that the concrete is now in place. Alright, I'm going to be changing this arch, and so that is why I didn't bother to put concrete out in this area, because I'm going to have an oval arch here instead of this just plain arch. Alright, and so that is what the veranda porch, the veranda slab work would have been like. Alright, now to do the remainder of the building, it would be done in a similar fashion, just that it's an entirely long process. And so to begin, again, we go back for slab. Let's just check to ensure that our thickness is still good. And say, for example, I'm going to be starting here. Now I'm going across to here, and I have to go around this entire building until you get back to where you started. So I'm ensuring that I'm traveling at the same points that I'm expecting the concrete to be laid against the wall. And so when it gets here, the concrete will be going in here. And I'm going all around this building. You just have to be a little bit careful when you get to certain door openings. For example, the door openings leading to your porches and your door opening leading to your garage areas. You have to be careful when you get to those areas how you travel with the concrete. But if you are aware as to how the actual process goes, all along these walls that I'm selecting, there would have been concrete poured against these walls, and so these are the walls that the concrete would actually be touching against. Alright, it's almost like I'm painting over all my interior lines, but you have to be seeing it from a practical view. Now this is one of the points I mentioned, that you have to be careful, because when you get to this door, the concrete has to be cast all the way to this edge, because there is going to be a step down there. Alright, so we go back and we are back in. Alright, so that was one of the corners I just made reference to, that you have to be careful that you don't go straight across. The tendency for some persons is to go straight across here, but then there's not going to be a step down here, and so the step down is going to be down here. So we go down there, we go across. Alright, back into this master bedroom I'm now going. It's a long process, but I must accept that it's a long but simple process. You just have to be careful, because selecting wrong points can sometimes mean the undoing of the entire process. Alright, so I suggest that you be careful. Alright, if certain points are missed, however, that's not a big issue, because we can just continue and come back and grab those points, and if they need to be stretched, then we'll stretch them, or points can be moved. What is important is that you have the right amount of points clicked. Alright, so here is another tricky one. I guess I'm back at the garage. Yes, there we are. So we go back to here, concrete comes back in, and I'm going back around to the kitchen area, because that's where we had started. Just a few more points, one last one, and I had started here. When I give an enter, you would realize that the floor would have been covered. Alright, The thing, however, is that all floors are now on the same level. Take for example, if I zoom in and look closely at my veranda, my porch leading into my living room, I would have noticed that those two concrete or those two slabs are pretty much on the same level. And so to change the level, what I'm going to be doing is to select those two slabs, for example the garage slab and the porch slab, and I'm going to my properties and I'm going to bring those elevations to a -38. So I'm bringing those down 1.5 inches lower than the rest of the slab. When I select back on my screen, those slabs would have dropped. Alright, so let's go ahead and have a look to see that there is actually a difference in height. You can see that by the gap on the concrete here. Alright, that they are at different levels. You will also have noticed that there are some spaces that seems odd. For example, there's a little cavity here, and around the building you might notice that there are those. Those will be taken care of just as soon as our foundation walls are placed underneath this building, because in our next tutorial we're going to be looking at constructing the foundation walls, and those will take care of any blips that might be seen under the building. Take for example here, there's going to be a wall connecting exactly under here, and so that will take care of that piece. And so we would have had our building with the floors installed. Again, now that we are at the end of that tutorial, we can now go back and turn back the layers that we had turned off. For example, our A-wall openings. Let's put in back our openings. Let's put in back our A-slab. Turn on back your roof. Alright, let's put the roof back on. Our doors. Put in back our doors. Our kitchen cupboards and appliances. And I think our plumbing fixtures were turned off. Alright, so there we would have had our floor. If we were to look through here, we would realize that the building now has floor. Alright, so there we would have had our 3D building. And again, if you were to look even from the underside, you would realize that you can no longer see inside, because you are now being blocked by that concrete slab. Alright, and so this is the end of this tutorial. I hope it was useful, and you can use this to install flooring in your structure as well. Alright, guys, until next time, bye.